Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix Tremaine. Today I'm going to do a review of the movie Freaky. But first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. I'm working on building this channel up. Right now, we're still slowly making that climb to the 1,000. But if you like soap operas and dramas, you can go to my other channel. I have two. The other one, we're finally almost at 25K. So you can check that out. The link is in the description box. So subscribe to both if you love news, entertainment, and soaps, and you know, just good stuff. You'll find it right here. Now let's talk about Freaky, because I was looking forward to it, and by the end I was just so disappointed. But we're gonna go through the basics. It was directed by Christopher Landon. He wrote it and he directed it. He also wrote Paranormal Activities 2, 3, and 4, and he directed Paranormal Activity 5. He directed Happy Death Day, and he wrote Happy Death Day 2. Happy Death Day 1 was good. Happy Death Day 2, not so much. You can stop at 1, and kudos. We also had, as an additional writer, was Michael Kennedy was credited. The cast has Catherine Newton as Millie Kessler. She's the teenage girl that switches places with Vince Vaughn's character, who plays the Blissfield Butcher. So yeah, we have those two characters that switch places, just like in Freaky Friday, where the mother and the daughter switched. This time, it's a teenage girl and a serial killer that go through the switch. We also have in his cast Alan Ruck. You'll recognize him when you see him. He plays Mr. Fletcher, the evil woodshop teacher, as well as Uriah Shelton, who plays Booker, Millie's crush. She also has Celeste O'Connor as Nyla, her best friend, and she has Misha Oshirovich as Josh, her other best friend. And that's mainly the cast. They do have a little play with the mother and sister, but who cares about them? The writer sure didn't. Freaky has an interesting concept, which is why I was really looking forward to it. The trailer looks great. I love the concept. It steps outside of the box. So I really was invested in wanting to like this movie. I liked Happy Death Day 1. And so knowing that, you know, he directed that, it also made me excited for what was to come. The directing in this movie was, you know, it was okay. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. It was basic, generic. It like the rest of the production, it was very basic and generic. Nothing really stood out except for Vince Vaughn's awful performance, which I'll get into. We had... Oh, well, let's go ahead and talk about the acting. I think that Catherine Newton as Millie did a really great job as Millie Kessler. I really liked her performance. She was everything she needed to be. She was all different levels of that character. And then we had Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn in this movie, I don't know who he was playing, but all girls aren't the same. So they introduced us to Millie, who was a sullen teen who was upset because her father died. She really couldn't speak up for herself. You know, she had this crush that, you know, she really couldn't move forward with. She was just like a regular girl, but then as soon as Vince Vaughn becomes a character, she does this a lot. Who was that character? Where was that character in the movie? You know, so I thought it was actually offensive to just like, that's where you go. Even with the voice, as Catherine played Vince Vaughn's character, the Blissfield Butcher. She was the Blissfield Butcher. She did not try to sound a whole lot different, because her voice is her voice. So Vince Vaughn, what was he doing? Because she wouldn't suddenly sound like some Valley girl if that's not who she was portrayed to be in the beginning. You know, he could have done a better job at just being a freaked out person who switched bodies, who just happens to be a girl, and played on the emotions that was handed out to him. You know, in fact, she could have been more depressed that, you know, she lost her father, she's losing everything, including her body. She don't know what's going on. People look at her and they see oh God, the mask. So it's not Halloween, but they gave her this Halloween mask to wear as if that was going to be inconspicuous, where they even show the character could barely see walking while having this mask on. The tone of the movie was so off. Is it a comedy? Because 90% of the actors are playing this as straight horror thriller type movie. Vince Vaughn didn't know if he was in a comedy or a horror movie. So when he's the Blissfield Butcher, he did a good job as a serial killer. He did that right. And he knew he was in a horror movie. But as soon as he's supposed to be a girl, he forgot he was in a horror movie. And he thought he was in Freaky Friday, not Freaky. And we also had some other bad acting we need to talk about. I don't know if I can blame Misha for his performance as Josh, the gay friend, because I blame the writing. That it was just so stereotypical. I could see that based on an interview I read that he did. I can see how he was probably struggling to try to make the character more realistic, while at the same time having to do extremely stereotypical things that made the character contradict himself. And I felt bad for him. Her other best friend, her black best friend, she had no personality. She had no story. She really had nothing going on. I think that when it comes to diversity in a movie, they decided to fill in two boxes. Black female as a minority. I don't remember seeing any Asians or Latins in this film. And the gay guy as another minority. And you know, that's it. I felt like they were just checking a box. Her sister, the actress that played her sister, was very generic cop. Didn't really have a personality or any real line. She had one moment in the movie where she realized her mother was still drinking, and it showed that her character could have had more depth. And then we have this jail situation where we find ourselves in a small town. I guess it's a small town where you can lock a police officer up in jail and walk out because there's nobody else there. There's no other police in the whole police department, which makes absolutely no sense. So there were just so many different stereotypes in this film that made me not like a lot of it, but I actually enjoyed the kills because the actors that played the characters that you wanted to die, they were so mean, they were so stereotypical. Like, pick a horror movie, Friday 13th. You know, everybody fits in their box. Here's the mean girl, we want to kill her. Here's the bullies, here's the jock. You know, they all fit those things. So at that point, you know, if you've ever been bullied or if you just don't like to see it, you know, you get a little euphoric over seeing, you know, chop chop. You know, I think the best kill was when the person gets cut in half. I think that was the best kill in the movie. They also didn't actually know Millie's strength. So there were times where she was portrayed as being very weak because she's a girl when she's the Blissfield Butcher. And then there's other times where she's bursting through walls like she's a superhero. And then there was some stupid line about balls being a weakness. I'm like, I'm already offended at everything else. Don't start offending guys for being guys. So, classically, there was going to be like this gang rape that was going to happen. You wanted all them people to die. And you kind of saw 2 of the 3 die. But the other one, I don't know. I guess that was off camera. Getting hit in the head with a bottle doesn't kill you. So trust me, I'm paramedic, so I've seen worse. So that was that. I did want to talk about something else that I found interesting, because this is a generic horror film. It's okay. It's not a bad movie. It's borderline bad movie. It's almost like, I don't know if this got cult classic status, in the making, that people will find all the ridiculousness about this movie to be a fun drinking movie, where every time somebody does something stupid, they take a drink or something. I don't know if it's that movie. It's not the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where they're going to, 25 years later, we're going to be seeing this like up on the screens with people saying the lines. But stranger things have happened. It is 2020. I just wasn't a fan of this film, and I think I'm just so disappointed in it because it has so much potential and it was so wasted. And chances are, despite the ending, and this is spoiler free, I'm just saying, despite the ending, they're probably gonna do another one. I don't know how they gonna do it, but they probably end up doing another one, because the movie only cost $6 million to make. They haven't really done any advertising or marketing for it. They've done the bare minimum because of what's going on in the world, the pandemic. But in its opening weekend, according to Wiki, they made $5.6 million worldwide, and that's just in like the first 3 days. So they made their money back. So from here on out, anything they make after this weekend is just profit. Minus whatever marketing they may have done. But for the most part, it's going to be profit. This doesn't include streaming money they're going to get. This doesn't include, it's just like Paranormal Activity, where they put the bare minimum amount of money they can to put into it, and then they make buku amounts of money. Doesn't mean people buying the Blu-ray, doesn't mean people buying the DVD, doesn't mean people renting it. So this is a cash cow and a potential. I just really hope, if they do the next one, I just got a flash of the next freaky being the gay guy being switched with another serial killer next or something, or this one coming back somehow. And I can see somebody like Vince Vaughn trying to be stereotypically gay the way he was trying to be stereotypically female in this movie. So now I want to talk about something else, because the review is over. My score, until I figure out my little fancy little scores I'm going to be giving stuff, I'm just going to go regular grading score. I'm going to give it a C, because the movie was just okay. Not even going to give it a C minus. It's just a C, because I think that Catherine Newton carried the film on her whole shoulders by herself, except for the scenes where Vince Vaughn was the Blissfield Butcher. He was good as a Blissfield Butcher. He just wasn't good as Millie. And I just want to mention something else, because when I talk about the Russian actor named Misha Ashevich, during the interview I read, the world we live in now, we have to identify people correctly. So even though his character was gay, technically he says he's non-binary. What's non-binary, you may ask? Non-binary means that person does not consider themselves a male or female. So, some will identify as like, Like, for instance, I have a production company. I've had trans actors and I've had binary actors audition for me, and you got to ask, like, what's your pronouns? How would you like to be referred? That's the best way to do it without offending anybody. Simply ask, what do you prefer? And he was like, I'm dressed as a boy. You can say he. If I was dressed as a girl, you can say she. If I'm dressed as both at the same time, then they, just don't say it. And some people actually want to be called it. But, in the world we live today, let people be people. Respect them, for, what's going on in their lives. And so even though I'm referring to him as he, because he presents as a boy in this incarnation, I just did want to say that as a non-binary, that doesn't necessarily mean that will always apply, or that it even applies now. So it's just something to think about when you meet somebody who's binary, or you meet somebody who's trans. I have a friend who is like a trans care worker, and so basically when trans people need like health care, or they need housing or anything like that, he's like the person. He's not a social worker, but he's like sort of like he's like a doc. I think he's got a doctorate, but that's kind of what he does for the city. And so watching him, he always is like, so what's your pronoun? My pronoun, and I'm like, it's weird to watch, but if it makes people comfortable and it makes people feel accepted, then that's what we have to do. So I have no idea what his pronouns are. I just wanted to say, as a binary actor, congratulations for getting to work, and let's see if that comes into play during the career, either as a help or a hindrance. So that should be interesting to see how that goes. So everybody respect everybody, and just be open to different people being different. And it doesn't mean you have to change who you are. You're just respecting who they are. So that's it. I thought that after school special at the end for anybody who needed to hear it. And let me know what you thought about Freaky if you get a chance to see this movie. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.